Welcome, and thank you for joining us for another edition of Live by Heart Today.
Show 50, Mastering Change.
With your hosts, Dawn Spiegelberg and Wendy R. Wolf. Our show begins now. Streaming from Retro Earth Studio and brought to you by
Learn to play jazz piano like a pro, by a pro, with Jazz Piano Pro Essentials at jazzpianopro.com.
And wearehistorically.com. Conscious Brand Apparel. It's time for the next episode of Live by Heart
Today.
Hello and welcome to the Live by Heart Today Show 50. This is a show designed to help you navigate change, uncertainty, and the new world we found ourselves in. We'll talk a little bit about science, a little bit about how the body works, a little bit about intuition, and we'll talk a lot about transformation. I'm Dawn Spiegelberg, posture therapist and coherence coach. We're focusing on living agreements, and today's theme is mastering change. With me for today's Heart to Heart is my co-host, Wendy R. Wolf, professional transformation facilitator. Welcome, Wendy.
Hi, Dawn. How exciting to play with this. This is right up my alley. Mastering change is my game. So excited. Thank you so much for playing with this today. And it's also, we're wrapping up the Living Agreement season. We're coming to the end of a full year of playing together with you all. It's so, so great. So, hooray.
Hooray, here we are. Mm-hmm. Change is inevitable. We've all heard that. Accepting change, though, that's a whole different story. Mm-hmm. So let's talk about, there are so many things that change. Our body changes, our environment changes, our relationships change. And when it comes to bodies, I see over time that a body's unwillingness to go through change results in the decline of that body. It's as simple as, if you're no longer willing to get up and down out of a chair, then you lose the ability to get up and down out of the chair because the body accommodates the stimulus and the situation that you provide for it.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And, I just want to say that about maybe a month ago, you were playing with me. I was noticing a little thing about my walking and running and how my toe was. And you did like 10 minutes of quick coaching over the internet with me and showed me some exercises, which have really shifted how I get in and out of a chair and how well I do that and how, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, it doesn't have to take a lot for you to go ding, really big change in how the body operates. So thank you.
That's my specialty, and thank you for pointing that out. A woman I worked with recently was mentioning she had some real restrictions in her body, and one, she didn't know she had those restrictions. And her comment was these little small movements, she didn't say micro movements, but they weren't really a big deal, ended up over time creating for her an entirely new experience of the world. And that's change. Mm-hmm. And she was willing to jump on board and start with small changes, but put in the time. So let's talk about that a little bit. Let's talk about what it takes to be willing to change.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So change is like a little death. It's a little death to our identities and our egos and how we used to do it and how we might resist doing it in the future. Everything's, when the chick is in the egg, it pecks its way out. It's coming into a whole new world, and it's a big deal. So they have to come out because they need their resources, like I suppose, like air and food and water and such. and they've grown out of their space or whatever. So
Yeah,
they
that's
peck
the
their way
truth.
out.
They outgrow the space. They do get air. The eggs are actually
Oh, right.
permeable.
Okay, they get air.
So they are
Good.
getting air in the egg, but their food supply runs out.
Yes,
And right, they're
they're too big.
squished in there. They're too big.
Right, and that's a great picture for change, and it's a great picture for spring, but it's a great picture for change. It's like, this is the box, this is the egg I've been living in. It was comfortable, I had all the resources, fine, leave me alone. But like, there comes a point, it's like it doesn't fit anymore, and I have to peck my way out, and I have to be willing to come into a new world, which is life. But it also feels like every transformation can feel like soul death and ego death. And that's what changes. And
That's what I
so,
want to hear about. I want to hear more about the death, because I just realized when you said, oh, there's a death, and then you're talking about a chick, and I'm thinking, where's the death in a chick getting out? But the truth is, a death occurs one way or the other. If the chick doesn't leave the egg, there's death.
yes,
And if the chick does leave the egg, there's that shift in safety, shift in environment.
everything. And I think, if we go to human birth at this point, it's much more obvious. We go from, living in this squishy world of watery, dark,
Protected.
safe, protected. It's so delicious, and it so feels comfortable, and there's nothing bothering us, and even the jarring that mom goes through, it's mitigated, and we're one with our mother. We're one. And then we start getting all these, birth pangs happen, we get squeezed, we get things happen, it's very uncomfortable. We go through this incredible discomfort, not just for the mom, but for us as the baby. And then what happens? Like, it's freaking cold out there, and we're jarred around, and they're doing these things to us. And
And it's
even if they're
bright.
being as kind as they can, it's like bullshit. It's like, it's
I
very
want to
disturbing.
I want to make a comment about that, because those children who go through a more natural birth undergo stress. And they've done studies on children who go through that, and other children who end up, like cesarean, right, or being born other ways. I guess cesarean is the only other way. And they're not as resilient to stress as they grow, as they become adults. And that's fascinating to me.
It is. And I have found, I use, because I've been through a couple really intense, in soul jargon, it's called the dark night of senses, and then the dark night of the soul. And having been through the dark night of senses, it was hell. It was horrible. It was terrible. It took me a long time. It was horrible. I gained a lot of weight. My life became miserable. It was horrible. But then I came out of it, and I lost the weight, and I got life back. And I was like, oh, okay, wow, that was really hard, but I made it through. And so when the next wave came of the dark night of the soul, which is harder and deeper and longer for me, I was like so encouraged, because I'd been through it before. I'm like, all right, so many similar things happened. I got more sick, I got more fat, I got less life and more pain and all that stuff. But it was just like, all right, I made it through one, I can make it through another. And it took me so much longer, but like, having been through it and coming out the other side and having life again, and joy and fun and play, it's like, okay, it's possible to get through this and do it again. So I think it really does help us to go through these things, and it helps our children to encounter difficulties and make it through. And
it reminds me of going to massage school, and it was hard, right? The curriculum, they had very high standards. And the one amazing thing, though, this was incredible. It was hard to go through it, but then when we took our state test to receive our license, that was a breeze.
Yes.
It was amazing. And they designed it that way. They designed it because, you're going to be nervous, that all these things were going to affect you, and they wanted you to be successful. And it worked. It really worked.
Yes. And it keeps working because you continue to have such a high level of understanding of the anatomy and the physiology and the body movement and how the body works. And you've built on that so beautifully.
Thank you.
A lot of massage therapists don't get as deep training as you did and wide. And then, and there's other ways to do it. I purposely myself, because I was called as a healer, didn't know what to do. So I went to massage school. I
Right.
purposely chose the other kind of school. I purposely chose the more intuitive, more being kind of school.
Mm-hmm.
That was my choice. And I learned stuff, but not nearly as deeply as you have. And you know, I had different goals and stuff, but I really admire what you bring to the physical game.
I love that it sort of has come full circle, because you know the vocabulary, of my specialty, and you understand.
Yeah.
And I've come around to studying the energetic piece,
Yes.
which is your wheelhouse, right? It's beautiful. So
Hilarious.
that's why I love having you on the show. The Live by Heart show is about the physical heart and the electromagnetic heart, right? It's about the energy. It's about the whole experience, which is not just physical and it's not just spiritual. It's both.
Yes. Yes. So beautiful. So we've talked about the death and the life, and that's going to be a big theme, I believe, coming in our next series. This whole death to life and coming into new. So I'm going to turn off of that for now and go to. I have 3 big things I want to talk about around this mastering change, and the first one is why. Why do we want it? Like, because change is not always so fun for us. And I just said it to death. Hello. You know, ego death, identity death. You know, I can't sell that, by the way. Doesn't sell. Nobody wants it.
And what comes to mind is 2 responses. The why, right? That one response. And then the other one, why?
Yes. Perfect.
Very 2 different perspectives.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, is it happening to me or am I happening to it? Is a really important part. And I'll get to that in the next section, the what. In this why, I want to talk about, like, all right, so what do we want more than where we are now? Like, there's where we now and what we would like, the life we have and the life we would like, the impact we have, the impact we would like, the relationships we have, the relationships we would like.
What's amazing to me is that in the chick example, the chick doesn't know.
Doesn't know.
So does that mean we don't know?
We don't know.
We don't know what's possible.
I think 90% we don't know what's possible. We make up stuff. Like, I remember when I was in my early 20s, I went to a Girl Scout blah, blah, blah training retreat thing. And I was like, all right, well, you know, in the big things, what do I want? Because I was doing it for my work, because I worked for Girl Scouts. What do I want for me? And I just wrote down a few things, but the one thing I wrote is like, I don't know what I'm not grown up enough to make a plan about a partner. I don't know these things for a lifetime partner. I'm not an adult enough for that. But when I'm 30, I'll know. And then I met my partner like a week before we got together, a week before I'm 30, right? Like, it's just like, I don't know, but I'll just ask and look what happens. It's fascinating. Look what happens. And, you know, it's been wonderful and terrible, but boy, what a blessing. So, like, yes. So all I know is I can't fit in this egg anymore. All the baby knows is that all of a sudden, my whole world is in earthquake disruption and I'm getting squirted out. And this is the gift of life, I think. I truly believe, and I see this energetically, if there's one thing, it's like everything's moving toward, you guessed it, teleos, toward fruition, toward we're evolving, we're maturing, where life moves us along one way or another. Whether we run toward it or we are like, no, I'm not doing it. Eventually, for me, I'm like, Miss, I'm not doing it, right? As a rule, like, I've learned after the dark night of the soul, I learned it's like, oh, I could do this faster and easier. Why don't I do that? Duh. You know? Right? And so I've learned to say hello to change in an active way that I never would, but it took me like decades of my life. But in the egg, like, it comes to the point where it's like, I have to chip my way out of this or I'm going to die. That's how I used to make most of my decisions. Well, all right, I'm going to start chipping because otherwise I'm going to die.
And that's action.
It's action.
And it's a physical action.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's so funny. I was just talking to my my business group. I do a wonderful little circle for soul-centered entrepreneurs. And I was saying, you're sure you can just make these choices and make these changes. Or what I tend to do is I tend to throw my hat over the wall and then I have to go get it. I set a date for a series I have to do, and then I have to freaking do all the things, right? That gets me in action. I have to. Whereas, because I don't want to do it. But then I have to. So that works for me. But what I'm learning is to get out in front of it. Can I just there's some discomfort here. Maybe I want to choose to shift. That's what I've been learning in the last 14 months, really, really applying it. So anyway, if we can inquire for ourselves how we do it though, is we say, is this who I want to be for the rest of my life? Or is there some different way I want to be? Is this how I want my relationships to be? Is this how I want my partner relationship to be, etc.? Or is there something more? And I don't even have to know what the more is, but do I want more? Do I want more love or intimacy or juiciness or great sex or whatever? Do I want more? Mm-hmm. And that means change. Because as we keep talking about, Michael, it's like, everybody wants progress. No one wants change. And right? I want all that more, but I don't want to have to change. I want to heal, but I don't have to change. It was a big surprise to me when I started really delving into the energy stuff. It's like, oh, I want to heal. That means I have to change. Damn.
It makes me wonder if that little chick in the egg, okay, gets bigger and bigger and bigger, right? And we know the way it gets out is that little, it's called a tooth, right? A little egg tooth. Mm-hmm. It makes me wonder if there's a moment in time where it gets so big that just the slightest move of its head causes a crack. And then it's just like, oh.
Right, because how would it know?
It's never done it before.
Never done
it. It's never done it before. And that's important. The changes that we make, we haven't done this before.
No. It's all new. And so, but this whole, am I willing to try something new? Am I really willing to breathe through the fear and let it be excitement? Am I willing to allow who I think I am to shift, how I think it is to shift? And that's hard. And a lot of us don't want to. And I would say, yes, people die from accidents and stuff, but the people I know who have been old and have passed, I notice a less and less willingness to change, less and less willingness to say yes to the new. And everything just, there's no yes anymore. It's something to consider.
Yeah. So does that mean the people who age for long periods of time, are they more willing to say yes? It's a question.
It's a question.
It's a question.
Yeah, I'm not saying that whole death by by choosing no is it's a conversation I'm in. It's a, what's that called? And it's a hypothesis. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's a hypothesis. But I just keep noticing it. So the why is and for me, I love the teleos. I want to come to my full fruition. I want to bear fruit. I want to share that fruit. I really do. And so what does that mean? That means me maturing and coming to my full self. It means maturing and coming to my unique genius, to my unique, what is my tree and what is my fruit, and allowing that to come. That's I'm really enrolled in this and I love sharing it, but other people have other pictures.
You often mention, and now is a perfect time to just say that between the caterpillar and the butterfly, there's a period of mush.
I know.
Right? And that's a natural thing. The caterpillar started out as a little wormy egg, eating thing, and it grew and grew and grew and grew, and then somehow it's suddenly creating a cocoon, which it's never done before, and then its whole insides completely break down and become something, they rearrange and become something entirely different.
Yes.
And it's all unknown. It's all, you can't know it except by nature's example. You might be going through a mush state.
Yeah.
And on the other side is beauty.
Yes.
So we'll go to your next point after this short break.
Awesome.
Let's give a shout out to our sponsors. Thank you, We Are Historically, for making this show possible. Shop online at wearehistorically.com.
As a posture therapist, I'm qualified to pinpoint the cause of physical symptoms by realigning the body, and then it's the body that heals itself. When you are in a state of overwhelm, your mind is out of alignment with your values. As a coherence coach, I'm astute enough to identify the root causes and show you how to realign with what you value, and your mind can be whole. You can live by heart today.
Hi, I'm Darius Wilrich. I instruct an online video course that teaches anyone how to play jazz piano like a pro with my proven step-by-step system that makes it simple to learn. Jazz Piano Pro Essentials. Learn the quickest way to start memorizing and playing scales today. Download my free Quick Start Guide.
Welcome back to the Live by Heart Today show, Mastering Change. We were just discussing the why change, and now Wendy's going to mention her second point.
Yes.
And I'm excited to hear about it because the first one was so compelling.
Yes, I mean, I feel like it's very important for us to realize this as we take on any new project. I certainly know with any of my long-term clients or folks who are learning new things, it gets really hard. And if we don't really want the outcome, we're not going to go through the hard part. And then what I notice is there's two things. There's the carrot. Oh, I really want this outcome. And then there's the stick, which is the egg. It's like, oh, if I don't change, it just keeps getting worse. And the carrot and the stick, I think, really help us to change both. Like, I want to just change because of my aspirations, but that's not how I change up until recently. Recently, it's the egg, but I'm learning. Right. But either way, we can choose, and that's the why. And then like what? Like for me, in this whole conversation about mastering change, there's two very important aspects. And one of them is that change is always freaking happening. I mean, if we don't know it now, we know it this past year. It's just wave after wave. It does not stop. This is the world we live in. We live in a world of change. And that's a blessing because it's moving us toward Teleos, I believe. But mostly it just feels like it's annoying us. If you're me, right? So the waves keep coming, but can I learn to surf them or do just every single wave knock me on my butt, put, sand up into my suit, crash my head and give me road rash on the, does it have to be like that? No. Like we can learn to surf the waves, body surf, regular surf, whatever. We can learn to, the waves are coming, great. Okay, I can duck this one. I mean, I love body surfing. So I can duck this one. I can take the next one. I can feel for the right one. We can learn to surf the waves instead of getting knocked over by them. And I think that's the first very important point to talk about. Do you have anything to say on that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because we can have the perspective of being the victim of the wave, right? Like, oh, here it comes again. I'm going to crash and bang. Yes. Or we can ride it. We can say, oh, here comes another one. Let's try to get up on the board again. Let's, balance it a different way. It's coming from different perspectives for sure.
Yes. And not so much in body surfing, but in board surfing, not only can I surf the wave instead of it, drowning me or banging me into the bottom, which I've experienced, you can tell. But also, when you're board surfing, you can pick a direction. You make a lot of choices about what to do. That's advanced, but it can happen. It is advanced. It takes skills and practice, but it can be done, and it can be done gracefully. And then the next part about this what is, it's also for me a water metaphor. It doesn't have to be, but it's like, so many are like, I don't know, like, I just don't know. But if we pick a point, like if I leave New York Harbor in a sailboat, which I've done, and start to go down the coast, all right, I'm going to the Bahamas, right? Like, I'm going to the Bahamas. And if a hurricane comes, I can slip into Annapolis. I can, right? Like, but I'm still going to the Bahamas. I slipped into Annapolis. And then when the hurricane's over and the surf gets, not ridiculous again, I can come back out. I can take the inward journey, but it's not nearly as fun, the inward passage. I can go back out and I can go into the blue water and keep going. And then maybe my sail rips, I can sew it. Maybe my mast comes down, I can fix it. Maybe I have to limp into yet again down here in South Carolina and get something fixed, come back. Then I can still go to the Bahamas. Can I have an intention? And the winds and the waves and the tides and everything can change. People can be sick, but I can still be going to the Bahamas. Can I choose? Yes, the wind is helping me and the tides are helping me, but I have to time them. So yeah, this waves keep coming, but can I put my sail up and choose?
And that's having vision.
Yes, having vision. And at first, we might not know what the vision is, but we can be practicing. We can be practicing on the lake, and then we can go to the ocean, and we can play in the blue water and go back and forth to New York Harbor and Annapolis or whatever we want to do to get our sea legs, and then be like, where? The whole world's my oyster. Where do I go? And I'm free. I'm free in space at that point. And that, again, it takes techniques and learning. I mean, to be a good captain is a huge, huge endeavor to understand all the factors. It's a big deal. And I wouldn't go into blue water with someone who's not a great captain, because it's my life at stake. But we can become great captains and understand all the things and practice and choose and go. And so I just feel like, again, this is like part of the why, but it's like this is the vision. Can I surf the waves? Can I sail to wherever? Can I sail to France? Can I sail to, can I sail to Hawaii? It's exciting.
Very exciting. Okay, in our last 3 minutes, what's your third point?
Third point is, it's just like, that's really nice, Wendy. That's a great theory, but everyone knows it's hard. Can you really do it? Can you do it? And how do you do it? Like, that's where I'm skeptical. I'm like, yeah, that's a great theory. That's really nice. But, as someone who's had trouble with change, how, right? How? And, for me, I'm just so grateful that about 20 years ago, I found a system that works for me, and that it helps me bring my intentions into reality. It helped me heal my body. It helped me heal my life, my relationships, and develop these things that we're talking about, and get such incredible passion and hunger for life. So that there's just, I teach them, you teach stuff to help us from the inside out to make change with internal levers that actually work.
I am forever grateful to you for teaching me some levers that actually work. And I just want to mention, Wendy's assistance helps not just me, but it's helped my relationships, right? It's helped my marriage and my parenting and my extended family relationships. It's helped my work. It's helped everything. So when she says how, She means all of the hows, and it's really brilliant.
Thank you. Yeah, it's wonderful to get this inner way, because I don't need the outside to make change. I can do it right here, right now, within, and then let that cascade into my world. So, yeah, that's what I wanted to share today. This whole game is about mastering change, and that's one of the ways I look at what I offer and a lot of what you offer. And I don't call it master change. I don't call it mastering change. A mastery of change. It's like it's mastering. We're always mastering, and I'm always getting thrown off the Bronco and getting back on, but I'm staying on longer. So the end of this practice is nowhere near what I can see. There is an end, but most of us aren't there yet. So thanks.
You're welcome. And some of that ending is unknown anyway.
Right. We don't know.
We don't know exactly.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Awesome.
Thank you so much. That's Mastering Change, the what, why, and how of Mastering Change, which is beautiful. And for more information about Wendy's programs, you can find Wendy on the internet. You can drop us a line in this chat. Lots of ways to connect with Wendy to help you master change in your life. So thank you for watching today. We're so excited that you chose to join us, and we'd love to hear from you. Drop us a line. Give us a comment. If our conversation spoke to you in any way, please tell us what's on your heart. For more information about how you can live by heart, please go to livebyhearttoday.com. Also, like and follow our page and turn on notifications so you don't miss our program. We're here every week on Thursdays at 4:44 Pacific time. From our heart to yours, we're creating a better tomorrow because we live by heart today.
And that concludes this portion of
Live by Heart Today!
Thank you for watching. View more episodes on our YouTube channel. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you, We Are Historically, for your conscious human apparel. Shop online at wearehistorically.com.
Hi, I'm Darius Wilrich. I'll teach you everything you need to know about playing jazz piano like a pro with my 12-week online video course and downloadable guidebook, Jazz Piano Pro Essentials. Enroll today at jazzpianopro.com.